Good morning. It's Saturday, May the 16th. Our top story is stick with the rules and don't take risks. That's the message from the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, as we enter our first weekend since lockdown restrictions were eased in England.
Local councils are warning us to stay away from beauty spots and beaches, fearing a surge of visitors will lead to an increase in infections. It comes after scientists revealed the infection rate across the UK has risen. John McManus has the latest.
The German photographer, whose early shots of the Beatles helped turn them into pop and style icons, has died.
Amazing.
Quite an achievement, isn't it? We were playing it, weren't we, We'll Meet Again, on VA Day. Lots of people singing that.
So, cafes and restaurants have been allowed to reopen in Austria as more lockdown restrictions are relaxed across Europe.
The businesses do have to stick to strict safety guidelines and reduced opening hours. We can find out more from our colleague. In some cases, life returning slowly to normal where you are. What was it like sitting in the cafe having a cup of coffee? I'm not particularly asking about the coffee, whether it was good, I'm sure it was, but in terms of how people were behaving in terms of socially distancing.
Let's see, time now is 10 minutes past 6 Saturday morning. Let's have a look at some of the Eurovision Song Contest would have been tonight, and that is, yeah, it's being held in the BBC has a programme going on of I think it was Finland, where they're all dressed up as kind of mutants. I have that in my. I can't remember any of the music, but I think on just sheer kind of madness moment, I can't remember. Someone will know what they were called. There was something like that quite recently, I think.
And that was yours.
Well, I'm not going to say it's my favourite. It's just like as a moment of Eurovision, fantastic.
Bucks Fizz for me every time, every single time. I mean, when it came out, I was a little girl when it came out, and I just remember all of us just used to do the skirt. Used to go and get a tablecloth or something or a sheet.
Yes, it sort of stands the test of time in a way, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Well, they were on the other day, Bucks Fizz, doing it with our Moscow correspondent, Steve Rosenberg, doing Making Your Mind Up on Zoom.
I rather like the fact that Eurovision fans, and there are lots of them, will get the chance to vote on something tonight.
Yeah.
You know, so there is something, and you'll be able to watch. It's a whole bunch of. I think they're going to show, and we'll have a chat about this later on. A lot of the performances that would have been competing tonight, but they're obviously not competing, and then they're going to have a look at your all-time favourites. Can I just draw your attention? I love this story. This is a Daily Mirror story. They've broken down a couple of times. She thought, I won't be able to keep on using it.
Is it gas?
Yeah? Won't be able to keep on using it. I love it when people keep things for a long time. If you've got something this morning, if you've got a thing, I don't know, a device, things like mixers, you know, original mixers. It keeps going. Why would you change it? It keeps going. It's not a problem. If you've got one of those things at home, you know, we can talk about that. Can we talk about that this morning?
Absolutely.
I like the idea of that.
Absolutely.
So that's a, what is it? Did I say, sorry, I've dropped it. That's a 70, oh, I've lost it now.
What?
61-year-old oven.
61.
So that's an oven that's 61 years old. Still working.
That oven was there when she was 10 years old. Fabulous.
What was that mum said she passed it on?
Oh, that's lovely. Tell you what's always new, the weather, of course. Chris has that for us this morning. Have you got anything in your place? Can you think of anything you've got that you've had for years and years and years still working?
I'm going to be in so much trouble.
Bring us some sunshine. You're in trouble, Chris. Properly tickled you. It's a stormy weekend for you, Chris. But anyway.
You're not wrong.
See you later. Thanks very much.
So, 17 minutes past 6 time now. A year ago, Prince William launched a text service called Shout. That was to help young people experiencing mental health problems.
Now, to mark the first anniversary, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge joined 5 of the service's volunteers on a video call to discuss the support they're providing, especially during lockdown. Angus Crawford has more.
The nice wave at the end.
Always with the Zoom or whatever, those video conferencing.
Sign off with a wave.
Always got to sign off with a wave. It is 20 past 6. It is time to take a look at the film review. We'll see you at past.
Hello, this is Breakfast with Naga Munchetty and Charlie State.
Good morning to you. Time now is 6:30. Thanks for joining us. Here's a summary of today's main stories. We're being urged to stay away from beauty spots and beaches this weekend, the first since lockdown measures were eased in England.
He's so good,
fabulous. Charlie had an interesting idea. We should get someone to send in something like quite every day, quite mundane, and get you to do some commentary for it.
Well, my dulcet tones, they're quite up there.
Shall we ask for something? OK, all right
Yeah,
then.
let's do it. Let's do it. It's a
We'll
little challenge for the morning.
There we go. Thanks,
I tell you what,
Mike.
though, the Cotter dog sequence, it's a
Cotter.
gift that keeps giving, isn't it? It's just every time I watch that, it's just
20
delightful.
million and
clever.
rising, the number of people have seen that. It is, I could watch that all day. And quite a few of them said, not interested in
brilliant.
sport, but just
Absolutely
the
brilliant.
action, isn't it, the drama.
Very good, Mike. We'll see you later on. Thank you.
So, if you do, perhaps, have something, little clip, we'll see if Mike can put some commentary on it. We might run it a little later on.
So, 6:41 the time. The Eurovision Song Contest was supposed to be lighting up Rotterdam tonight, but the pandemic means it's been cancelled for the first time in its 64-year history.
So many things being cancelled, but instead the BBC is going to be broadcasting a special night of programmes to celebrate the competition. It may not be much consolation for the UK's entry, James Newman, and thousands of devastated fans, though, as Daniel Rosny has been finding out.
Chris, thanks very much. See you later on.
Now, it is time for a coronavirus news roundup presented by Anita McVie.
Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Naga Munchetty and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. Good morning, it is Saturday the 16th of May. Our top story is stick with the rules and don't take risks. That's the message from the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock. Of course, we're entering our first weekend since lockdown restrictions were eased in England.
Local councils are warning us to stay away from beauty spots and beaches, fearing a surge of visitors will lead to an increase in infections. It comes after scientists revealed the infection rate across the UK has risen. John McManus has this report.
Much, and of course, talking about Anne Longfield, we are going to be talking to the Children's Commissioner for England in about 5 minutes' time.
Almost half of patients severely ill with coronavirus are also developing dangerous blood clots.
The Children's Commissioner for England has told ministers and unions to stop squabbling over plans for pupils to return to school next month. Let's get more from our political unions. We're meeting medical experts and hoping for a view and hoping for some reassurance. Did they get it? Time now is 9 minutes past 7. We've been hearing the quote, stop squabbling, work together, get children back to school in England. That's the Children's Commissioner talking to the government and school unions because there are concerns that the government's target of June the 1st for the return of some primary school pupils is simply too soon. We can talk very much, Chris. See you later.
So, as you're hearing there from Chris, the weather could be quite nice in a lot of places today. It is, of course, the first weekend since lockdown restrictions were relaxed in England. Important to emphasise that. And with decent weather forecast, people are expected to head outdoors.
There are concerns, though, the new freedom might be taken too far by some. Beauty spots, parks, popular countryside destinations perhaps could be overwhelmed with visitors. Our reporter, Adam McLean, has been to the Lake District, where the Tourism Board is telling people to stay away. So, what is easy for us to do is sit there and see Adam's report and just indulge ourselves with the beauty of those pictures. And what does it make you want to do? It makes you want to go, yeah, to places like that. I mean, Mark's just got in touch with me on Twitter and just says, hi, I live in the Yorkshire Dales, and over the last 2 days, I've seen so many new people in my area from tourism and bikers and not keeping social distance. And he's saying that our number is higher. In North East, he reckons point A, I can't verify that, but in the North Eastern Yorkshire, people are now getting worried.
Yeah,
this
and
is
the
warning.
messaging is very clear from those places. Lake District we heard from a moment ago. If we show you this image, this is Breakfast with Naga Munchetty and Charlie State.
Good morning to you. Time now 7:32. Here's a summary of the main stories from BBC News. Councils and police forces are asking day trippers to stay away from beauty spots and beaches this weekend.